Chapter 19 Road to Perdition Parallel World? Or is there any connection between the two worlds? Lu Sheng's eyes flickered, and he felt as if he had grasped something. He quickly picked up the disc and studied it carefully. The surface of the disc is very smooth, no buttons can be seen. Lu Sheng didn't know what the disc was, so he could only search it inch by inch. Soon, he found a groove about 1 millimeter deep at the center of the disc. Lu Sheng stretched out his hand and found that the groove was about the size of his thumb. Fingerprint unlock? Lu Sheng thought, and gently put his thumb into the groove. After waiting for about a minute, Lu Sheng almost gave up. At this time, a sound of D was heard, and then the disc in his hand began to emit a faint blue light. The blue light is getting stronger and stronger, but it is not dazzling. This dusty and lifeless room seemed to gradually wake up with the appearance of this blue light. Welcome to use, Tianeng technology. A soft female voice came from the disc. Then the blue light on the disc began to quickly condense a female silhouette. It can really start. A trace of excitement welled up in Lu Sheng's heart. But this excitement didn't last long. The disc in his hand seemed to have exhausted all its energy, and quickly dimmed. After a few seconds, it turned into a cold iron plate again. Lu Sheng let out a breath, and a strong light shot out from his eyes. It seems that there is still some energy left in this city. If I'm lucky, maybe I can find more information about this world. Lu Sheng picked up the disc and quickly walked out of the room. He began to search door to door, and in the process, he found some discs in different colors and styles from the first one. Lu Sheng speculates that the disc may be something similar to a computer, which is found in many families, and most of them are found in study rooms and bedrooms. Lu Sheng gathered about dozens of similar discs, and finally tried to open them one by one in one place. A soft blue light flickered on and off before his eyes. Most of the discs have run out of energy, and the rest are either damaged or remind Lu Sheng that they do not have sufficient access rights. A password is required. Lu Sheng felt helpless. Finally, when Lu Sheng picked up a silver-gray disc, things finally turned around. This disc was found by Lu Sheng from a box, which seems to have not been opened in time. Welcome to use, Tianeng technology. Lan Guang condensed into a hand-high, soft-looking woman, wearing a pink one-piece suit, with perfect body proportions. Lu Sheng waited for a while, and he was relieved when no prompt such as the password pupil model popped up. How to use it? Lu Sheng hesitated for a moment. But almost instantly, the Blu-ray beauty in front of her smiled and said, users who use optical brains for the first time can operate according to the following prompts. Fortunately, there's a tutorial for beginners. Lu Sheng heaved a sigh of relief. Soon, he mastered the operation method under the intelligent guidance of the optical brain. The next step is to slowly understand the process of this world. Lu Sheng took a breath, thought for a while, and issued an order. Help me call out the news information of the latest date. Connecting to Skynet. Skynet connection failed. Connecting to the civilian database of base 1359. Connection succeeded. The next moment, a large amount of information flashed across Lu Sheng's eyes. Wherever Lu Sheng's eyes rested, the text at the corresponding position would immediately enlarge and be presented in front of him actively. On June 21, 11024 in the military calendar, the number 2 main base successfully launched the 58th batch of life exploration spacecraft, targeting the Lyra galaxy. On July 12, 11024 in the military calendar, base 105 fell. On September 24, 11024 in the military calendar, Admiral Sun Kang was successfully promoted to the 10th level star realm, becoming the 472nd 10th level star realm powerhouse in the history of the World Wushu League. Currently, the Woman League has a total of 23 10th level star realm powerhouses. Bit. On September 30th, 11024 in the martial arts calendar, bases 114, 893, and 1022 fell, and the World Martial Arts League will hold the 274th Grandmaster meeting at the main base of number 1. On October 3rd, 11,024 in the military calendar, Bases 585, 697, and 1253 fell. November 19, 11024 in the military calendar. Lu Sheng quickly browsed the news presented to him by the optical brain. All kinds of information are constantly impacting Lu Sheng's brain nerves. The 10th level powerhouse, the planetary immigration plan, the Grandmaster meeting. Just as Lu Sheng expected, the martial arts civilization in this world is much higher than that of the world he lives in, and he has even explored the path of martial arts 10th and 11th level above the 9th level. But even so, the most news that Lu Sheng saw was the news of the fall of martial arts bases one after another. The martial arts civilization in this world is incomparably brilliant, and it has multiplied to an unimaginable height, but the enemies they face are even more terrifying. Even the 10th and 11th level of martial arts powerhouses cannot protect the human race that is crumbling under the claws of alien beasts. Later, they even decided to abandon their home planet and began to try to find a second habitable planet for life. But judging by the news, Lu Sheng lowered his eyes, and the speed of the blue light information flashing in front of him also slowed down. Until the day when Base 1359 fell, the exploration spacecraft that were launched did not come back with any exciting news. Lu Sheng mourned for them. From the cold news, what he saw was the helplessness and sorrow of a glorious civilization when it was going to perish. Lu Sheng stopped reading the news, and instead said, "Help me call up the history of the world. World historical data is being retrieved." Chapter 20 The Tinder Project, the next 10,000 years. Retrieval of world data successfully. Lu Sheng looked at the newly slid out message. In the first year of the Martial calendar, the northern part of the ancient Eagle country, the southern part of the ancient Lion country, the eastern part, and the western part of the ancient Dragon country, the surface cracked, and a large number of creatures from different worlds emerged from it. When he read the first line of world history, Lu Sheng's brain seemed to be hit by a heavy hammer, and it hummed and shook. Lu Sheng suspected that he had read it wrong, so he leaned closer and read it word by word. In the 34th year of martial arts, the world's first inner martial artist was born in Gulong Kingdom. In the same year, the World Martial Arts League was established. In the 42nd year of martial arts, the classification system of martial arts was established. Mr. Yang Chena, the martial arts master of Gulong Kingdom, became the first 5-level master in the Martial Arts League. The 104th year of Budo. Lu Sheng sat on the ground in a daze. He was always calm, and his emotions and anger were invisible, but at this time his face was full of shock and disbelief. He looked through the world's previous hundreds of years of history and found that these histories highly overlap with what he learned in history class. The time, historical figures, historical events, are exactly the same. The information from Budo 310 to Budo 315 in the past few years gave him the illusion that he was flipping through old newspapers in recent years. Lu Sheng finally got an unbelievable result. This world, and the real world he has been living in. It's exactly the same. The information he just read is not at all the history of another world's martial arts civilization from prosperity to extinction, but the future of their world. 10,000 years in the future. The year 11024 of the military calendar, that is to say, the world I live in now will be completely destroyed in more than 10,000 years. Perishing in the overwhelming black mist, perishing in the endless tide of alien beasts. Lu Sheng's face turned pale. He couldn't accept this result. Just a minute ago, he was paying a moment of silence for the fall of this mighty civilization. And a minute later, he realized that he was mourning for the future of his own civilization. Not necessarily. It may not be the same, it may be a coincidence, it may be a parallel world. Lu Sheng comforted himself, trying to calm himself down. He needs more facts to verify. Lu Sheng tries to zoom in on history to find clues from smaller clues. But at this time, the optical brain prompts, insufficient authority, visitors cannot query. Lu Sheng frowned slightly, and said, "Generate users. Please provide a genetic blood sample." It is really remarkable that the optical brain of future technology needs genetic blood samples to establish users. Lu Sheng didn't know if it would work in the dream, but he still bit his index finger and dripped a drop of blood on the groove in the middle of the optical brain. After Lu Sheng dripped blood on it, Guangnao fell into silence for more than 10 minutes. Just when Lu Sheng wondered if this thing had crashed, the optical brain finally let out a crisp beep sound. But it is not a reminder that a new user has been successfully established, but the human gene blood sample was detected, and the Tinder project was launched. Connecting to number 1359 Tinder Resource Library. Connection succeeded. Privilege enabled. The next moment, before Lu Sheng's eyes, a large piece of information jumped out. Name, Lu Sheng. Sex, male. Lifespan, June 297 in Budo, August 334 in Budo. Martial arts strength, level 4 warrior. Available authority, level 2. At the top of this piece of information is a photo of the character himself. In the photo was a middle-aged man with a handsome appearance and a resolute face. Lu Sheng was very familiar with him. This person is himself. Lu Sheng calmly continued to read the introduction about his life. Graduated from Baya No. 3 Middle School in Baya City, and entered Baya Wudai University with the first place in the school and the 23rd place in Baya City. 3 years later, he graduated from Baya Wuhan University and joined the military region. After serving in the Tiannan military region, Budo died at the age of 37 in August 334 on the battlefield of the Southern War Zone. Unmarried. Highest rank, lieutenant officer. Military exploits, first-class military exploits 3 times, second-class military exploits 5 times, third-class military exploits 12 times. No outstanding contribution. That is to say, I will die at the age of 37. I will die on the battlefield with strange beasts. I will only be a 4th-level warrior until I die. Historical evaluation. There is also a character's historical evaluation at the bottom of the data, which is marked with 2 stars. It just corresponds to Lu Sheng's level 2 authority in the Tinder Resource Library. Lu Sheng took a deep breath. His eyes became extremely complicated. It was hard for him not to believe that this was the future he was about to face. Because the Lu Sheng in the data had exactly the same life trajectory as him before the age of 18. Even the sudden surge in strength more than 200 days before the college entrance examination was recorded. In the face of the heavy history, his sudden transformation from a mediocrity to a genius is not even a ripple. To be precise, after his transformation, Curry is not considered a genius at all in the huge human race data. Because in the history of more than 10,000 years, there are too many geniuses who are 100 times, 1,000 times, more outstanding than him, and it is impossible to count them. The so-called leaving a name in history can only be done by a few people.